Hello, Hannah the Suburban Witch here, and today we're talking all about sigils. In today's video, I'll be going over what is a sigil, how to use a sigil, how to create your own sigil, and how to charge your sigil as well. If you're new to my channel, I'm Hannah the Suburban Witch, an intuitive tarot reader and astrologer, and I love bringing my witchy tips to you all here on YouTube. I release a video every Wednesday, but you can also find my content on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and I have a Patreon as well, which gets you extra bonus goodies. I've dropped all the links to those in the bio here below. What is a sigil? Well, sigil magic and sigil witchery has been used for a very long time. It's basically a symbol or an image that you can generally draw quite simply, but sometimes they're quite complex as well. And what happens is when the witch or the practitioner makes this sigil, they are weaving some form of intent into that symbol. So it is representing a greater intent. Now, there are also symbols or glyphs that you can use as a sigil. So for example, this here is the glyph that we use in astrology to represent the planet Mercury. Now, you could use this in your magic as a sigil. You could use this to draw on when you need those properties that the Mercury planet represents. So if you're needing help to learn something new or to get your thoughts clear or to communicate clearer, then you may draw on the power of Mercury by using this symbol or glyph as a sigil in your workings. So you can draw it on your candle. There's a few other ways you could do that as well. Now, some sigils are pre-made and you can find them all over Pinterest and with other practitioners as well, offering these out. I'll show you some just here. This came in one of the Antipodean Witchbox subscriptions. There's one every month. So this is one for resilience, dreams, and hope. We also have growth and vitality. Now, these are very beautiful. They're also quite complex. This is not something that I can replicate and draw on my notebook, for example, or draw onto my body if I want to bring that into my life. That is more something that I would place on my altar to represent that energy that I'm wanting to bring in. Now, I personally, when I use sigils, I use really simple ones. I use ones that I create myself so that I can use them in a variety of manners. I'm going to show you how to do that today, so stay tuned. When it comes to using sigils from other people, however, I just want you to be cautious that you do trust the source you are getting that from. You don't want to use a sigil that someone has woven some ill intent into and then marketed it as something else. So this is for good luck when really it's for bad luck. That's something that can be a little bit dicey. It's good to trust where they're coming from or to make them yourself. How to use a sigil. Okay, there are so many ways that you can use sigil magic to incorporate it into your everyday life. I love sigils. I think they're fantastic. For example, you might have the intent for some glamour magic. So you may make a sigil for beauty. And then what you can do is you can draw that sigil with your foundation on your face or in your moisturizer underneath or in your primer. You can do all sorts of things like that. So you're basically putting that glamour magic onto your face. Body lotion on your body. You can draw them, even just if you're tracing it with your finger on your skin, that will put that energy of that intent of beauty into your skin. You can do all sorts of things. So choose anything. Let creativity go wild. You can choose good luck, beauty, longevity, resilience. You can do intuition, psychic abilities, anything that you want. And you can have a quite long intent as well. So that might be something like, for example, I'm pregnant right now. So I have made ones for, protection and safe delivery of my baby, all in one sigil. So there are many, many ways that you can do that and then using it in different things. Now, with my rituals and workings, I like to sometimes carve sigils onto the side of a candle if I'm doing candle magic, draw them onto something that I'm using or on a piece of paper. There's so many ways that you can incorporate that into your magic. You just need to use your imagination. I like to draw them on the shower walls when I'm in the shower, just to bring in some of that energy, especially cleansing energy. That's how I'll get a cleansing shower. I have a sigil for cleansing. I'll just draw it on the glass wall as it steams up, and then that basically fills that shower with that cleansing energy and gets rid of any emotions or attachments or anything throughout the day, so that I can go to bed feeling refreshed and ready for my sleep. Protection sigils are a really great one as well. If you have a sigil for protection and you go to a new place, or you go to a hotel room, that sort of thing, you can simply trace that onto the wall with your finger. Okay, that can be a really handy way to do that and to get that space protected. It's almost a form of putting up wards. You can also do this on your car. You can put this onto a crystal and charge your crystal with that sigil as well. So I've done that before, where I write it on a piece of paper, wrap the crystal up in it, let it sit in the moonlight for a little bit, and then basically that crystal has the extra benefit from my sigil, and I can take that with me for protection. So you can do this with lots of things. You can even make your own jewelry with your sigil in it as well. So let your imagination run wild. I can't wait to hear what you guys come up with. Now we're going to talk about how to create your own sigil, and it's super easy. I do it all the time. There are lots of different methods, and I'm going to show you 2 methods here today. And the third method would basically be to draw something up that's really, really pretty, that vibes with you, and give it that intent, okay? But the other 2 ways I'm going to show you are going to put that intent purposefully into the sigil itself. So I'm going to show you how to make a sigil for the word protection. So this is a protection sigil. So I usually start by writing out the word and crossing out any of the vowels and any repeating letters. Then what I do is I use the strokes of each letter, and then I basically just sort of free flow and put them all together. So I've done the P, that's the R, then I'm going to do the T, then we need another C. I'm going to do that backwards just because that's going to look kind of cool. Then we have an N, and then you can just kind of jazz it up. So you can put some little, I don't know, arrow things at each end. That looks kind of cool. And this is a really fun way to get a nice, cool looking sigil, just using the shapes of the letters themselves. Okay, so I'm going to do another one again for the word protection, just so you can see how different they can look. Now, this was the original method that I first learnt. Again, you write out the word that you're wanting to embody, cross out any of those vowels and repeating letters. Now, I'm just going to write down exactly what I'm left with because it makes it a little bit easier to see. Next, we do a number alphabet grid. So you're going to number it out 1 to 9. And then we're going to fill that space with the alphabet. So all the way A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and then continue on. And this is a really easy way to do it. Some people do this in a alphabet circle as well. There are multiple different ways. This is just one method. It's not the only method. Go through and find your letters that you're left with and give them their corresponding number. So we're left with a 7, a 9, a 2, all right, there's a 3, and finally a 5. Now I'm going to do a 3 by 3 grid, okay? So this is basically just one way. Again, you can use a circle, you can use a few other ways. This is just a simple way to do it. So I'm putting these numbers in order, and then there's going to be some blank boxes which we don't have the numbers for. So what I'm doing is in order. We didn't have a 1, so we go 1 first. We do have a 2, we do have a 3, so then I've added the 4. Then we got the 5 already, so added the 6. Already got a 7, so we added the 8. Then we start at the number 1, and we're going to follow through in chronological order. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see I'm just adding that shape to the side so I can see what it looks like. Following those in order. And then we're just going to jazz it up as well. So I'll show you some alternative ways of doing it. So you could leave it just like that. Or I'm just going to switch over to the other page for you here. We can curve it up a little bit more. That could be your sigil. Let's try another way. Let's just go up and down. Remember, following the way that it is, but you don't have to follow it exact. This is just to give you some semblance of a guide for where the lines should go. Okay, try again. And like I did with the last one, you can put some dots or some little lines through it and jazz it up and make it look really pretty. These ones I find really great because they're really hard for other people to replicate if they don't know them. Now, before you use your sigil, you need to charge it. You'll hear this a lot in the witchy community. So there's a few ways you can do this. The most common way is to draw it onto a bay leaf and then light the bay leaf on fire, and that fire charges that sigil. There is another way which is a little bit more risque, and that is with sex magic. So sex magic is actually quite powerful. So if you really need that sigil to work its magic in your life, I recommend this. You can do it with or without a partner, and you would basically draw that sigil on your body. Now you can use lotion, you can use a pen, you can use your own body fluids. It's up to you. And then basically what you're wanting to do is have an orgasm. And the act of that orgasm, the energy that builds up through that will charge that sigil. Okay, so then you can continue using it and bringing that sigil to life in your everyday. The third way, which is honestly, it's not a lazy way, it's an easier way. It's the one that I often fault to. So what I do is I will draw the sigil somewhere and I envision a white light almost burning it up, so filling all those lines in the shape of the sigil, burning it up until it almost shines out of that sigil. And for me, that charges it with my energy and my intent. So totally up to you which way you vibe with the most. Just make sure to charge them before you start using them. Otherwise, it's more just a drawing on a piece of paper. So make your own sigils if you can, charge them up, and go forth and prosper using them wherever and whenever you can. Let me know how you go and if you have any further questions about sigils themselves. And I'd love to hear from you guys what you thought of this and any content that you'd like to see here on my page. Love to you all. Have a great day.